Hi guys, so in today's video, I don't know if this is continue on with like the cute things I've been making for Christmas, the little holiday treat stocking stuffer type things, because obviously you need an embroidery machine. But I'm just going to monogram these Santa sacks. I have three of them. I have three kids, and I'm going to put their names on them. So just gonna open this guy up. We're gonna hoop it up and all that. This should be very simple. Again, you know, when you're working with something fuzzy like this, you probably want to use a little wash away stabilizer on the top. I always use like a tearaway or cutaway at the base, and that should be fine. So again, you know, where do I want to put the name? I was thinking about putting it straight across here. I mean, you can put it down in the corner, whatever you think is cute, but I think it'd be cute here, and also it'd be easier to hoop it up, right? So I just grab these at the Dollar Tree. If there's any items I can link for you guys, including the machine, I'll go ahead and do that. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. I think this video is going to be quick, but I always say that, and then it takes a little bit longer. But you can consider this like a terry cloth towel, or like anything that has any kind of nap or like loop to it. You know, you're going to want to put some sulky, well, it doesn't have to be sulky, but some water soluble stabilizer on the very top. So, and I also think I'm going to use the large frame. I mean, I can put my kid's name kind of small in the 4-inch frame, but I wanted to do it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use the big frame, and I haven't used the big frame ever on this machine, so it'll be fun. Let me go to my computer. We'll get the name going. I think I'll probably do Diego's today. Well, for this video, I'm going to finish them all up today because I'm just going to go one after the other, after the other. But yeah, so let's go to the computer and we'll get that typed out. What I like to do is use BX fonts or free, well, not free fonts. I think they have to be BX, don't they? In Embrilliance, you can use their free program. It's called Express Mode, and the only way you can mess around with the font is the one that they give you, or if you buy fonts that have a BX format. So that's the only way you can do it for free. Otherwise, you have to buy the full Embrilliance. And Singer of My Sonnet, the other one I work with, doesn't let you work with fonts and like just typing it up. You can drop them in letter by letter by letter, and then you have to arrange it, and it's a whole pain. So either you do that and you buy, you know, your PSTs, your XXX, whatever DST, whatever file type you want. But if you're trying to use a free program like the Singer one, you're gonna have to bring in each letter and arrange it nice, and you know, do all those kind of things, manipulate it, and you can do that, sure. But I'm going to just use the font that I bought on Etsy that has a BX format associated with it, so I can just type the word out, the name out in the free Embrilliance. Okay, so let's go do that. Okay, guys, so with this one, again, you just click continue once you open the Embrilliance software, because I don't have a serial number because I haven't purchased it. So there you go. And I am on a Mac. I did buy a new Lenovo laptop, which I actually have a video that I need to release on that. I haven't really started using that yet, so I hope to, because I like PCs better than Mac-based things. But anyway, once you open it, I want to go to my lettering, and right now it's ABC Block. This is the free one that, or just Block, I guess is what it's called, that they give you. So if you download the Embrilliance Express mode, you get a free font, which is nice. But I'm going to go ahead and see my text down here, over here. We can mess with things. You can do a lot of things on this free one. But let's say it's going to say Diego, and I'm just doing upper and lower case. Some of the fonts I have may not have an upper or lower case, you know, whatever. And I'm going to look for a font. And I was thinking about this Mario one. Oh, this cute blue puppy, which, by the way, when you buy things on like Etsy, you know, they're going to word it in a way that they don't get in trouble. So you can figure blue puppy is a very popular little puppy right now. Anyhow, let's see. I was thinking one of these Mario ones, because honestly, they're really big. So sketch, I don't know, fill, 1 inch, and then 2 inch. Some of these fonts have an applique type of feel to them. Some of them are just what it is. I'm trying to think if I want 3-inch lettering. That's really big. But see how this one has a knockdown, it has a fill, and it's kind of scary to me because I'm like, which one do I want? And so knockdown stitches are really cool. When I was just talking about fabric having a nap or having, you know, that terry cloth kind of feel to it, the knockdown stitches puts an application of knockdown stitches, which is just really flat to flatten everything out. And then when you go and do your lettering, it looks really great on top. So something to think about. Let me see. What am I? Do I like this one? Woo, that's really big. Actually, oh, I need to change the hoop size, which I haven't done in a while, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. So let me see about that. How to do this in Embrilliance, I forget. Oh, right there. So we have this little file. I just clicked it, hoops. And I actually forgot the size of the hoop for my singer also. So you can say new and you can put in what you want. It is in millimeters. That's kind of painful. What are you going to do? So let me find what the hoop size is for the larger hoop, and I'll be right back. Okay, so funny enough, that says millimeters. I was doing centimeters. So it's roughly 25 by 15. So I'm going to say singer large hoop just so it's not exactly what it is, but that's okay. So 25 by 15 centimeters. So 250 by 150, right? Roughly. That means times 10, right? Okay, so let's apply that. And hopefully it did that. Okay. Yeah, it's down here. So yeah, again, so it's 9 and 13/16 by 5 and 7/8, which is roughly what it is. It's 10 1/4 by 6 inches. So we're almost there. But that's fine. Oh, I think these guys stacked on top of each other. Let me see what happened. Hold on. Why is there only a letter D? That's what's... Oh, you know what? It's because... Yeah, it's because it only does capital letters, which is fine. And these are 3-inch letters. I think I'm way outside my size, so let's change that up. Let's go with the 2-inch sketch. Sorry, guys. And am I within my range here? 9, 13, whatever. Select is 8 by 2. Okay, so yeah, that works out. I don't know if this is the actual lettering I want to use. I just thought it was cute because I know it's nice and big, but Billy the Kid, that one's cute too. Cowboy, like cowboys, you know, the cowboys. That's what this one has. A daisy. It almost looks like a little snowflake. I don't know that I like that one. So let me peruse again. People ask, where did you buy those? I have a whole video on this. These I got from Etsy. You can buy fonts all kinds of places. A lot of these look really weak. I wanted something really full. Ooh, how about fancy pants? And we say 3 inch was too big. Let's say 2-inch. Oh, that's cute. You know why I like that? It looks Santa Clausy, doesn't it? Okay. I think we can do this. Also, I don't care where this is. As long as it's centered, I'm happy with that. So again, with this guy, and I didn't bring it over, I want to save this and export it and all that good stuff. Oh, yes. Okay. I just added an adapter there. I need to bring my USB over. So just save it to your USB if that's how your machine interacts with, you know, designs you're bringing from somewhere else. I will say there's other things you can do here. Like if I want to, click on this circle and maybe you want it to be slanted a certain way. See that? You can mess with the spacing and all these other things. I'm just going to read. Actually, let's not do that. I don't want any slant at all. I was joking. So how do I get rid of that? Let's go back to flat. Okay. I could have saved it that way, but there you go. If you have several lines of lettering, you can mess with it here, which is really nice. You can say Diego Merry Christmas or whatever. So the next thing and the next thing. So if you have different lines and you can mess with it that way too, which is very cool. I don't care about any of this. The other things you can do is maybe mess around with the stitch itself. And I don't know if this one lets me do that. Because generally there's a place where you can like make the stitch things thicker, or maybe I want it to be this way or that way or whatever it might be. But there's lots of things you can do even in the free one, okay? So what I want to do is save my file. Save. See, it says stitch and working. Save as stitch and working. So if I say save, when I click on that one, it's telling me it's going to save it as a stitch and also as a file I can mess with, right? So Diego for bag. I don't know. That's just what I'm going to call it. Right now it's going to save it to, I'm going to put desktop because it's telling me some weird stuff. And then it is an XXX file. So you can click here and change it to something else. If you don't want XXX, you want whatever it is, you know, change it. But I use XXX on the Cricut. Oh my goodness. On my Singer machine. And so I'm just going to say save. And if my USB port was in here, I would have saved it to my USB. So now I'm going to go grab my USB and then, you know, transfer the file. Just put it on your USB, just like anything else you put on a USB, right? Just grab it and drop it in, okay? And let's meet up at the machine. Actually, I'm going to meet you here at my workspace because we don't need to be at the machine yet, especially now that I figured out how to turn things on the Singer Legacy. It was a whole to-do before. I am using the larger hoop. It's funny enough, I just looked up online like what the sizing was of the hoop, and it's like 10 1/4 by 6 or whatever. It says on here 260 by 150, and we did 250 by 150, right? So I was close. My measurements were close. Okay, we're going to cover this whole thing only because I do have this tearaway and it is super inexpensive, so I don't really care to be like real chintzy with it, because what happens is especially if you're first starting out, really hoop your things up with a good amount of stabilizer. You don't want to have to be fighting with it or having problems while you're stitching out because you were trying to be kind of frugal with this stuff. Now, we can also use a spray. I didn't bring any basting spray. I don't think I need it right now. I might use it when I float this. This I will be a little more chintzy with because this stuff is expensive. You can just float it on top. You don't have to actually hoop it up. But if you want to hoop it up together, you know, at the same time, go for it. But this is my super solvy that I'll be using. When we put this on our machine, it connects to the machine like this, you know. This goes in there, and this is the higher side over there. It says Singer, and at the bottom it has the measurements. I will say, when you're putting this together, you see how there's arrows that match up? Make sure those match up. You could turn this, but they're not going to match up, and then you're going to have some problems, okay? So even though it is symmetrical, you're going to want to hoop this up in a way that makes this match up. Also, when you look at this, just like the small one, you have little marks here that help you know where your center is, where it's going to stitch. You know, it's not going to stitch like inside of this, you know, 1/2 inch over here or whatever. It's all in here. You have your center marked. The center is also marked on this, in this direction, knowing that this is the last place it's going to stitch. This whole top inch, 1.5 doesn't do anything. So when you center it, don't center it with the whole hoop in mind, because that is going to be crooked. You're going to center it with this in mind, okay? So just keep that in mind. So let me bring this out. We're going to get this guy. I'm obviously going to pull everything away. Oh, actually, let me close this too. We don't need that open. And hopefully that's opened up. Is that open or is that tighter? Let's open it. We're going to get all this stuff away from it, you know. It fits in there really nicely. If it didn't, I might hoop it up in the other direction, and then you're going to have to really mess around with your lettering. But for right now, I'm going to bring this in. And again, you know, this is just a quick little thing. I mean, I can put it on the side. I wanted to put it down the center. And so let's make sure our arrows line up. My little arrow's there, my arrow's here, so I'm going to put that correctly. And again, you're going to, if you're really looking for the midline, I wasn't. I mean, this is the line here. That's a little bit crooked, so let me move that over a little bit more. If that's the very center, I think I'd be good with that. I'm okay with that being the center. Okay, let's not do that yet. Oh, I'm so silly. I already crunched that down. We need to get this guy in here. So like I said, I give myself a good amount. So let's take that off again, even though it is placed where I want it to be, so I'm not going to move it too much. I'm going to get this in here. And we could have already just used some spray and stuck this behind our fabric if you wanted to, and then get it all hooped up at once. Whatever is easiest for you. I'm definitely going to have to look at this again because I'm sure I'm going to move some things around right now. Just covering that hoop. Getting that in there. Okay. Hoop, hoop, hoop. I still feel some bare hoop in here, so let's bring that down. A little bit of extra over there. Let me just get this moved over this way. There we go. Take the slack out of this area. Okay. Now let's look at that again. This is way down here. That's there. We have our little arrow again. Lined up where I wanted it to be. Yeah, that's still pretty much where I wanted it. My frame went way down though, so let me bring this up. I'm holding on to the stabilizer and everything and bringing it all up as one unit. And let's see what we think of this. Again, let's be careful with this. You don't want to pull it in a way that's like stretching. I don't know if I consider this a stretching material. I switched my needle back out to just a regular needle, right? Just a regular embroidery needle. But if you think this is a stretchy material and you want to use a ball tip needle, then do that. Make sure you have one of those guys loaded up. All right, and I'm going to fight with this to get this back down in here. That feels good right there. Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. And I'm going to keep moving this over until I'm happy with it, and I don't want to waste your time. Obviously, it's going to take a little of this, a little of that. But again, you don't want it to get super squished, so I'm probably going to give myself a little slack here. Loosen that up. A little more. Okay. And get this guy back where I wanted it. It's a little too far over that other direction there. That's the middle. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'll be right back. Again, just messing with it and then pushing everything down. I think I'm pretty much there. Yeah, I didn't do much more. If you want to put the solvay on here, you could have put the solvay too and get it all together at once, but just make sure everything's pulled down. And I can tighten it from here. I can feel this little knob, so I'm just going to tighten it. You're going to have to pull this stuff back anyway when you go to stitch, because you don't want this underneath, because then you're going to stitch right through on top of that. So my wording should be centered here, and it's going to be here, if this is also the center, right? So that's where it should be. Now we're going to remove all this, really get in there. I know it can be a little persnickety. We're trying to get this all out from behind, okay? So if you're able to get your frame in there, you're going to be able to do this. And, okay, you can get some clips to hold this back, or just watch it as it's stitching. It should be okay. It's just going to stitch in here. And let me get some solvay going. A piece that, again, it's only like, what was it, 2 inches? Just over 2 inches. So I'm just cutting a piece here. And of course we're going to let our machine tell us where it's going to stitch, so I have a better idea. And we could have, again, used some basting spray to stick this to your, on the underneath, whatever it is that you prefer to do. Let's go to our machine and get it stitched out. Okay guys, so let's pop this in. Again, I just put my file on here. Easy enough. Let's turn this guy on. Nothing's in there. I haven't loaded even, oh, I didn't plug it in. Let's get that plugged in. Okay. Try it again. There we go. I didn't even load up my embroidery thread on the top, and I should. So right now there's a full bobbin thread. It is white bobbin thread. I mean, I can switch it out to black bobbin thread, which would probably be better, because if it gets pulled up to the front, you won't notice it, right? But I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to leave it. I do have black stabilizer too. I just feel like it's going to be on the inside of the bag. It's not the biggest deal. And this thing has really good tension, so I don't think I'm going to have any issues with, you know, any of that. Okay. Someone dropped off a package, sounds like. We're going to click the little strawberry icon, which means whatever you're going to stitch up, that's not like a font. Whatever your machine needs to do for that. I'm going to click on the little USB icon, and the words Diego for bag is what we called it. I'm going to say okay. And it's going to position it that way. So if I don't care for that, I will see about that. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see what I'm seeing. So it's Diego with the D up top and then down this way, which is actually not how I want it, right? Because if our bag is this way, I need the Diego facing that way, the buckle. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and load this up. And this is going to take me a second, because this has to get underneath. And, you know, I don't know why they make these things so tight. Because, like, yeah, you have stuff that needs to get under there. Ah. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and load this over here. Again, I can just watch this. You can put clippies. I haven't stuck this down yet, because what I want to do right now Let me get a little bit of a different angle for you guys. Maybe I can do it all at once. Because I need to switch this name around anyway. So let's see what this thing knows as far as my frame. It knows that the 260 by 150 is in there. I didn't choose that, but maybe it dropped that in because of the size of the project, right? So that's fine. So let's go to switch it around. And I'm just going to press this. And it should just switch it exactly the other direction because it can't do it wide this way. So why would it ever show you, 90 degrees? It was switched over to 270. And now Diego's starting down here. The D is down here and going that way, which is what we wanted. And then I like to see where is this going to stitch. So let's go back to the little frame and then you can click on this guy and point by point you can see where it's going to stitch. So that's where the O is basically the top of the O is going to be. And then down to there, across this way. See all these things getting in the way? So I'm gonna have to keep watching it because I didn't put any clips. And that looks good. So I'm gonna let it go ahead and reset back to the center. And I'm gonna spray a little basting spray on this guy. Okay, so I just grabbed that and just spray a little of this on there. And I'm gonna float it. So that means I'm just gonna put it right down in here. Again, you could have trapped it when you were hooping everything up. And just get that tucked in there. All right, let me get my black thread on my machine and we'll get started, guys. So I already have the presser foot down because when you do the actual threading, usually when you get down to the needle, you're supposed to put the presser foot down. And I mean, from here, we just can go. So I'm just gonna press play. And I actually didn't bring a little scissor up here. I've been using my scissors. Downstairs, but generally you cut this strand off. And I mean, that's it, guys. So I'm just gonna press play. You can say okay if that's what your machine needs, but this one you can just say play and it'll keep going. The reason you want to cut this off, oh no, stop. See, I was supposed to watch this, wasn't I? Let me go grab my scissors. Okay guys, I got a little bit closer for you. It started stitching on this where I don't want it to stitch, obviously. So I'm going to just cut those back. I'll probably have to get it out of the frame and just restart. So I'll be back. Okay guys, I actually didn't have to do too much. It was only a few little stitches. So I'm just gonna restart it only because I don't know how far back I need to go. So I have this guy going, I have this presser foot down, and I'm going to just take away the whole last one we did. So just start over basically, right? And I'm gonna hold this back, and I just got too involved in talking with y'all and everything else that I just said I was gonna hold it back because I didn't put any clippies. But if you have clothespins, whatever you have that will help you hold this back, do that. Okay, we have that down. Let's do it again. This time I will cut that thread and I'll press play, and this thing was going so fast. I was like crazy. Okay. There, that's all. We just need to keep this back and keep an eye on it. Okay, yeah, I'll be back. Gosh, you guys, that was crazy. But anyway, I'm just keeping an eye. Everything's going good. I think it's so funny that, we have oopsies, and I love to share those with you. I didn't have to. I could edit it. But I love the way this is coming out. And things happen. This is a very simple, easy thing to do, just to embroider something with a name or monogram or whatever. And it was like, oh no. So, again, keep your eye out. But look how nice that stitches. I love a well done file or design. Finishing up that letter D, and then it's going to go over to do the I suppose. So I'm going to keep an eye on this thing because there we go. All right, good to go. This file or these letters don't have a stop. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to cut, your jump threads, you can press pause on your machine generally and cut them, or you can just cut them carefully as the machine's going, which is what I did. But yeah, I saw it go over there and it honestly caught one into the loop, and that was not going to be good. That was going to be a disaster. So I'm glad I was here and I was able to cut those. But usually in between letters, it's you can cut in between so it doesn't tack down. That might be something you can manipulate in Brilliance later. I don't know if it's in the free one. I didn't know that these letters were going to just stick together. So something to think about, okay? So as you're, you know, moving from one letter to the next, if it doesn't have a stop where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to stop, go ahead and trim that end, you can pause your machine, cut it, and let it keep going. Done with the G, just a couple more lines to fill in there. And then I'm going to pay attention when it goes to the O, because that's really the only other one that was close to this fluffiness. Sorry about my handwriting there. And then again, you know, it's going to go to the next one. This thread right here is where it might get caught up. So, see, it can scoop right under there. So just kind of get in there and give it a cut. Because this little press foot might get under there, and then it's just going to be a disaster. So just know that. Looking good. Just finishing up. I'm just enjoying some jelly beans while I was watching this thing go. And yeah, it's just doing that last little section right there on that O. And that's it. I would say it took about 15 minutes. There's a lot of stitches in this, even though it's just a lettering, you know, kind of design. I say, okay. And I've been hot, cold, hot, cold. I keep taking my sweater off, on. Okay. That's that. So lift the foot. It should have cut the thread. And just get that guy out, manipulate it very carefully to get out of this. And let's go back to my desk just to clean up the little stitches. Okay, this is the best part, of course, when you're done. With this guy, we have this little quick release. If you don't have that, then you just unscrew it, but quick release just lets you pull that, pop it out. This guy here. Again, I believe this is a tearaway stabilizer. There's a lot here left still, so maybe you want to be careful as you're tearing away, because what you can do is maybe use it on a different project. Like I said, it doesn't have to hold on to the whole thing. Like right now, if I just cut through here, and let's say later I have another word that I know that I can just float this or put this across, or maybe on a 4-inch hoop, and you use a little spray, stick it to the back of your project. You don't have to cover the whole area. But if you're new, I'd prefer if you would. That'd be my preference for you. If you would just cover the whole thing, because you don't want to come into problems. So anyway, that's why it's so easy to cut. Like I'm just pushing through because it is cutaway. And then not cutaway, tearaway, excuse me. And again, this is the inside of this bag. I don't really care. Honestly, it could have been cutaway and I'd leave most of it there. You know? So just whatever you want to take off. And look how nice, like, this is what I'm telling you, it took a minute, because look at that stitching. I feel like these letters can almost be like a patch on their own. I mean, this is some sturdy stuff. But okay, let's go ahead and turn this guy inside out, or right side out. And this, I would definitely go ahead and take a moment to pull all this away. It's a little bit sticky because of the basting spray. But okay, so I'm going to go through, pull all this away, take out these little bits and the centers, you know, whatever is left there. And I will be right back. The rest of it will come out in the wash. So if you were to wash this, that wash away stabilizer will wash away. So I'll be right back. I didn't have a lot of thread ends, but if you want to do it while the stabilizer's still on there, it helps you do this without, you know, cutting the little nap from your fur here. This one actually came across and wasn't a problem. Look at that. See, I'm already cutting some of that. So just leave that on there. Sorry, guys. Should have mentioned that before, but you're watching the video. Obviously, you haven't already worked on something, so you just keep that in mind. So it's easier to do when it's unhooped, but also when you start have your stabilizers down. I think that's it. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's get this out of the way. And we have our Santa sack again from the Dollar Tree. Has that nice Diego. Maybe pick a little bit more off of there, but there you go. It worked out really well. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're having fun, you know, with your embroidery machine this season. I think Christmas time is always a really awesome time for embroidery, for sewing, for all those fun things. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll have some images coming up. I'll have links as available, and I'll see you all at the next one. Okay, guys, this video is a little bit random, but I'm going to put it in with whatever embroidery video I have going next, because it's kind of embroidery related. So I recently drop some bleach on this Affliction sweater. It's an Affliction sweater my husband had since, you know, Affliction came out in what, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s probably. Doing some white laundry. I usually do it after I've done all the laundry, and I do not like doing white laundry. I just prefer not to have anything white like that in the house that has to be bleached, but you know, whatever. My son started really wearing a lot of white, and I'm like, okay, fine. So he had thrown this in the laundry room, I guess, and I didn't notice it. You know, I didn't think anything about it. Put the bleach in, come back later to switch out the laundry. I'm like, no, there was like white bleach, and it's yellow actually. I think this garment is actually yellow underneath because you can see the way it's like dyed, kind of burned, kind of interesting look. So it bleached away the green part, in my opinion. That's what it seemed like. And I tried to match it with like alcohol ink markers or something, and then it looked okay. It didn't look too bad. Like in the right lighting, it doesn't look too bad. You go outside, this is bright yellow, and it's kind of picking up that way right now. So I told my son, I felt so bad because, you know, my husband had this. It's been perfect all these years. My son really liked to wear it. And again, it's this Affliction kind of style. So, you know, I was like, maybe I can find a patch. And they do a lot of wings and like skeleton kind of things and like this fleur-de-lis. So I went on Etsy because I thought, well, I can make my own patch. But then I thought, well, I just wanted it to really work and be made. I just wanted to be made because I have to buy a, you know, what's the word called? Like a digital file, you know, to do it myself. And I was like, you know what? This guy wanted like $250 for this. And I'm like, that's good enough. So I was looking for angel wings that look like the same kind of thing. I thought these were gold, but when they got here, I'm like, oh, I see. It's kind of pinkish. I'm like, that's not right. So I go on the page, and it does show it is a little bit pinkish. I guess if you turn it a certain way, like that blue dress, and people thought it was white and gold or whatever, right? So I was like, well, but the style is pretty cool. I think it really still goes. You know, this does have big wings on the back. I don't know. So what I plan to do, see, but a lot of the Affliction wings is face down like this, like if they were on your back. But I thought, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is iron that on here. And my son's like, oh, I thought it was going to be bigger. I'm like, I thought it was going to be smaller. You want it bigger? Like, to me, this is a good size, I think. So even though this little bit is there, I can probably cover it too, see? But I was going to bring this down more. And that little piece doesn't bother me that much. It's just something. And I told him, you know, I can put it down more lower so make it look more avant-garde over here. I don't know. Actually, I forgot what we decided. If we were going to leave it straight like this or more like that kind of thing. To me, I feel like it needs to be more fun like that than just being straight up and down. So that's what I'll do. And this has a weird plastic on the back. So like I said, I can make my own patches. I can link a video in the description box to show you. Like this one's all thread. And see how it's like shiny? This is the ultra heat and bond kind of stuff. I still left the paper on this one, but that's basically ultra heat and bond. It's like this, and it kind of scares me because it does say to heat up your iron to 280, and then it says use a heat press. And I'm like, a heat press? So I don't know. I'm just going to use my iron and hope for the best. So I'm going to plug this in, and I'm going to get a towel for behind here, and I'll be right back. So I just have a towel. I'm going to put it back here and wait for this to warm up. Okay, so I think I'm going to do it like that. Yeah, it has to go something like that. And it says to preheat this, or like to press that a little bit. And of course, I'm even using a travel iron, so even worse, right? And I'm going to put that like there. And then just to press it, it says for 30 seconds. So I'm going to focus on one side, and then I'll focus on that last piece over there because I can't really do both. So I'm just going to hold this down, and I hope this works. I have no idea. I'll be back after about 20 more seconds. Okay, I'm going to move over to this side. Really focus on that. Okay. I might have to do a little more down in this corner, but I feel like it, again, this is probably like professional grade adhesive. I don't know. So I'll just wait another 15 seconds or so. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And like I said, maybe I was going to focus down here, but honestly, I think it's okay. But let's just give it a little bit longer. Wow. Okay, and again, that's pretty much why I wanted to stay. That's good stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so there's that. This little travel iron yet. There's actually no off. You just have to unplug it, so I'm going to put that over there for now. I'm going to let that cool for a moment, and I'll be right back. Pull it off a little bit. You see how the color changed from the heat. And then look at that. I'm telling you, it's so bad. That is really cool. Again, you know, I did look for a digital file that was going to be like wings, but I just wasn't seeing it. It was like cutesy, like cherub, like no, I needed something like this, like grungy, cool looking. And this was, my son even told me, he's like, can you mess it up on the edges though? Like make it more like this. I was like, I don't know if I should, but maybe I'll come in here. I don't know if I can do it now, but he wanted me to like scuff up the edges. I'm like, can we just leave it like this? I think it'll be fine. All right, guys. Well, there's that. And I don't know if I'm just adding this to the end of a video or in the middle of a video, but there you go. Covering up that horrible thing with something that still is about the same kind of style, right? You know? I think it is. All right. I should have paid more attention to the fleur-de-lis, and I probably should have grabbed a fleur-de-lis. That would have been cool. But that's all right. All right, guys. Yeah, well, okay. That's all I have to say about that.